Pre-recorded from a studio, it's Malignant Bear, featuring me, JD Grauspitz. Hello everyone. Today in this video, we're taking a quick look at the new game Spellbook Demonslayers. This is a action roguelike, or bullet heaven, depending on what you want to call it, in the same vein as Vampire Survivors. This one came out a couple weeks ago, and it does some interesting things, so I wanted to put out a video on it. So we're going to join a run in progress towards the end of a level actually, so we can see some of the more intensive gameplay, and then get into actually talking about that as we see it. So, without any further ado, let's switch on over and check it out. So, here we are in the kind of pause menu here, and I will say one of the best things that this game does is the UI, before we even get into the combat, which is good. The UI in this game is great. It gives you all the information you could possibly want at a glance, just quickly and easily. I wish more games were good like this. I have no doubt what any of these stats do. I'll even hide the model there for a second so you can see more of them. I know exactly what they do, what they're going to do, what my numbers in them are. They're very easy to tell. I know exactly what my weapons are and what my other stats are and things, and even my auras and effects. So one thing this game does is whenever you start, you get to pick a spellbook, and a spellbook has a default attack and a bonus here. We can see this one, I get an extra reward reroll every single level, and then this was the weapon that I started with as well. And then you get 4 other weapons as you go through. And the weapons can only be leveled up to 10, and each weapon, when it gets to level 5, automatically upgrades to a stronger version, which is pretty cool. You don't have to wait for a chest for that. It's not tied to any other passives. Weapons just upgrade on their own, which is nice. But then you also have some passives, which are called auras in this game. And auras, whenever you see them when you're leveling up, they have a basic effect that you can see, and then they also evolve at level 4. And you can see at a glance when you're picking one in the level up screen what it's going to potentially evolve into. So I have a couple auras here, and again, we can see exactly what they do. There's no question about that. They even have a fancier one. I got an illegal upgrade at one point. So we'll go in and see what some of those things are. So here's the actual gameplay screen. Again, it's a bullet heaven. Here's us. It's our character with our spellbook that we chose. And here we get to level up. So again, we see more of that UI. We see more of all of our stats here. There's no question about what we're going to get. So I can choose to upgrade one of my weapons that I have here, Timmy and Tommy. So it's level 9 already. We can upgrade Double Tap. That was the starter one. It's not very good, so I haven't put too many points in it. Or we can see I can pick a new aura, so Tailwind, increases my movement speed and cast speed. Or it does that when it's fully upgraded, which is pretty cool. And you can see that here as well. Or we can reroll things or banish things, and you get these right off the bat as well. So we'll upgrade Timmy and Tommy. Timmy and Tommy are the guns taped to shields that are circling me there, which is pretty cool. So the game functions more as a twin stick than Vampire Survivors does. You move around with WASD, and then you can point to direct any of your attacks that take that. So a couple things happen there. One of them is obviously we unlock the Smuggler, which is sometimes you randomly get this from shrines, which was another thing that we saw. Shrines will randomly pop up on the screen, and you have to kill a certain number of enemies within the circle of the shrine before it shrinks and disappears, and then you get whatever bonus it is. And again, you see that right on your character, whatever bonuses you have from shrines. But one of them is the Smuggler here, and the Smuggler gives us illegal upgrades. So these are very powerful, but they often come at a cost. So for example, this one, I gain a ton of regeneration, but lose some health. This one, I replace my crappiest spell, but then I get a Storm Shield instead. So I can see right away my crappiest spell is that one with the ice. I already have a shield spell, so I don't really need that. I can go a little slower and pierce more, or lose HP and get some revives. Or I can gamble. So the currency that you use to get permanent upgrades, the meta upgrades, is these Astral Flowers. You get them whenever you kill bosses, and they drop in little treasure chests, and you can gamble them to get some stuff. I'm going to spend one and re-roll this and see if we can get something a little bit better. Huge increase to damage. I already have that one, actually. That's interesting, so you can double up on some of these. So we'll get Star Scourge, so you can see it replaced one of our crappier attacks. Oop, leveled up again. So one of the things I have is anytime that I kill an elite, it automatically clears the map for me. Get treasure chests, there's no fancy animation for them. But you can see it does have this kind of a very neon aesthetic to it, which is nice. The game definitely looks pretty good. There's nothing standout. I don't think it has as good sprite work and pixel art and stuff as Vampire Survivors or some of the other games in the genre do. But it's solid, and everything fits. Everything fits in the aesthetic that they're going for, which I think is pretty cool. So you can see our skill was level 5, now we can upgrade it. So evolve Tornado. So it's a tornado that launches tennis balls. Here we have a new shrine coming up. One other interesting thing this game does is that whenever you start out in a level, it counts down. So this level I chose is a 13-minute level. So it counts down from 13, so we can see we only have a couple more minutes left. That's why I started when we did. Level up again. Let's keep upgrading our attacks here. Soundtrack in this game is very good. I'm not entirely sure who it's from. I don't know if this is like all their original music or what, but it's good. Definitely headbanging along at times to it. The maps are small, they're not infinite, like some of the ones in Vampire Survivors or some other games, which is good. I kind of like that. There's no messing around, like trying to track down stuff. Instead of getting random drops from enemies as buffs, or like, you know, stage clearing kind of things, it's just the shrines that show up randomly. Sometimes you can get multiple shrines at once. I'll keep upgrading our stuff. You can see whenever you gain stuff, and then you get the little icon up there as well. You can also play with just the mouse, so right now I'm just clicking and moving that way, which is good. Accessibility is always nice in games. But yeah, it works a little bit better as a twin stick, which is kind of nice to see. I've noticed a few more games in this genre that are doing kind of the twin stick thing, so you can move and then target your stuff, which I like it. I think it adds another layer of depth to it. But again, this one also just lets you point and click. Two more minutes left. The game does a very interesting thing whenever you get to the end of a stage as well. It does not just end there, you actually get a choice of how you want it to end, which I think is kind of cool. Bosses are random, both in terms of what they look like and what they do, so you can see that one had like a modifier. And whenever you kill a boss, you get all of the rewards from the chest. You saw I didn't have to pick one there, it was just all of them. Alright, so this one, Evolve Double Tap. Fires auto-aimed bullets. Alright. So now stuff's really dying. I think my biggest complaint with this game is there's not a ton of enemy variety. Even in just a 13-minute level, you will see the same, I don't know, dozen or so enemies just over and over again. And again, the pixel art and sprite work, it's good, but it's nothing special. But it works. It's again, it's a budget title, as are many in this genre. And only $3. It's the devs' second game, which I think it's pretty good. Yeah, coming out with something like this. Alright, killing stuff. In a previous run, I had an upgrade that every time it struck an enemy, it shrank them. And at one point, I just used it continuously on a boss that had regeneration, because he could stay alive a little bit longer, and at one point he was just microscopic, and it was great. Alright, none of these are all that exciting. We have a ton of rerolls though, which is good. Go ahead and use one of those. The effects are good, and I will say the game runs very well. It has never dropped below 120 FPS. Vampire Survivors definitely has some issues, especially towards the end, where you'll be dropping frames and stuff and have all sorts of stuttering, and no such problems with this. So very well optimized. None of the upgrades or anything are tied behind achievements. You get achievements when you upgrade weapons to their maximum level, or weapons and auras, but you don't have to do that to unlock anything new, at least as far as I can tell. The game is relatively easy, I will give it that. So you can see we made it to the end. The Demonic Legion has breached the barrier. The Butcher approaches. The Cosmos shall aid you in your final defense against her forces. If this game has a story, it does not say what it is. I assume it's tied to their other game, because I know this person is in the main art for their other title as well. But you get to pick. You can do a time challenge, so you have like a shorter finale, or endless modes. So we'll just do the time challenge. So you can see it wipes the map, restarts the clock, and now it's going to count upwards. It's a little weird because I said the UI does a really good job telling you, like, pretty much everything you'd want to know. It doesn't tell you how long the time challenge is, which is a little odd. And every time that I've done this, I've gotten to the ending like that, and then I inevitably fail the time challenge after like 10-ish minutes because it just doesn't seem to end, which is weird. I'm not sure if that's a bug or what, but I feel like it could probably tell you how much it has left. You can see things start spawning a lot faster. You can see some of the modifiers that the elites have. As far as I can tell, you can have infinite auras. So later on in the game, you'll have just all of your weapons maxed out, and then all of your power is going to come from you getting more auras. Alright, so we'll see if we can die on purpose. Again, we want to keep this look pretty quick, so we can talk about some other things that are in the menu, like the permanent upgrades. If we can die, we might be too strong. Maybe. Find out. There we go, okay. So unfortunately, we've died. What a magnificent victory. So you can see all the stuff you had, you get nice stats about what actually worked well. You can always restart right away if you want to. But yeah, a little shy of our best score, but we'll quit back to title. So you can see I don't have a ton of achievements, but we will check those out real quick. You can see toggle all the ones you have completed and all that. So it does unlock, whenever you do this, you get some new achievements like this, and it's basically just like upgraded versions of the things, but you get a ton of stuff off the bat. So like some of the other achievements that I've been getting where it's like, oh yeah, these kind of little ones, you know, oh, get this level 4, that's not anything, that's just its own achievement. But you get some other stuff here where it's like, alright, you got it to level 10, now whenever you use this aura, it's going to be a little bit better. Which I think is more interesting than locking other stuff behind this. And then the upgrades. So you spend your little astral flowers on the upgrades, you can refund them at any time. And kind of standard stuff, you know, move faster, have more HP, do a little bit more damage, blah blah blah. The interesting thing is, eventually you'll be putting these into the auras so you can make the auras stronger. So like I said, I think the end game for this is you'll have, you know, your 5 weapons maxed out, and then eventually you'll just have infinite auras and just keep pumping points into them, which I think is kind of cool. It lets you really kind of pick and choose your favorite weapons and then focus on just whatever passives best complement them. So we'll go back to begin game so we can see. These are the books that we have unlocked. There is an option in the menu actually to play as the book rather than the female character. And so each book has a different passive. You have to get it to level 50. So get your character to level 50 in a level to unlock the second one. And they all have different starting effects and skills, which is pretty cool. So there's a decent amount of variety in this. I don't know why these two, I can't select them at all. I'm not sure what that's about. But yeah, there's a decent amount of variety in this. Like I said, it's fun, especially for the price, you know. Another cheaper indie title in this same genre, which I think is good. Definitely worth checking out if maybe you've run out of content in Vampire Survivors and want to try something else in this genre. worth looking into. Spellbook Demonslayers. Alright. Well, I enjoyed this game, and I hope you enjoyed this video too. And until next time, have a good one.